Now more with Lloydminster Rcmp Staff Sergeant Dave Callist. We've seen a rise in criminal code offenses over the last couple years. The numbers have kind of steadily been going up, but with the growth of the city at the same time. But every time I speak to an RCMP officer and ask them, about the growth, or a staff sergeant or some of your predecessors about this, the line has always been that it just means we're catching more of them. There may be the same amount of crime, but it means that we're also catching more of them and doing our job better. Is that really the sense that you want to put forward, or is maybe because of the growth of the city, it's a little out of control?
Well, I don't think it's out of control. I think it's probably in line with what you would see with Lloydminster becoming, the economics of Lloydminster are certainly helping the population growth and the industries that are here. So as you get bigger, as the economy improves, you're going to see an increase in crime. You're going to see an increase in things like drug-related activity or traffic patterns that need to be addressed. So I don't think it's out of control. I think that the city has been very good in providing us the members that we do need to be efficient. And the number of members is certainly one component to combating crime. The other thing is that we always encourage people to assist us. Neighborhood Watch is a very important program where we really rely on people to call in and tell us when something's happening, because with 39 members you can't have people everywhere to catch everything.
And a program as simple as Lock It or Lose It that got started about a year ago now is real simple, and if everyone could just help out a little bit and small your personal property, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. If we have a lot of vehicle thefts or thefts from vehicles, and a lot of that is just as you say, if you can lock your car up, take your keys with you, you're not going to have you're not going to be a victim of crime, or less likely to be a victim of crime or that type of crime than if you just leave your car unlocked. So those are things that people can do to help us, and together I think you can see a reduction in crime. The other important thing is that if we don't get the numbers that we need, then you go from being a proactive police force to a reactive police force, which means that members will just go to calls for service. They'll respond when something comes in, but they won't really get to the root of the matter. And something that we've done just recently is to be proactive, is to increase our GIS unit from 3 people to 4 people. So that gives our guys a little bit more focus to get in there and investigate some of the people that that we've identified as being involved in criminal activity in Lloydminster, to hopefully curb that.
Is that being proactive part of policing? Is that really important for the RCMP and really important for a community to have a proactive police force instead of a reactive police force?
Absolutely. That's really the model that the RCMP has followed for a number of years, is that we want to be proactive so that we're stopping problems before they start. Once problems get out of hand, or you're just reacting to calls for service, then it becomes very difficult to try and get back from that and get at the root of the problem. So if you can put members on say the developing trends, whether it's traffic related or say involves drugs, then you're dealing with problems before they get to be a problem, and or get out of hand, as you say, and hopefully you curb the issue. And say, for example, with driving, if you have a lot of driving offenses in a community and you're not policing that, things like collisions will go up, and then injuries go up. And so what you want to do is you want to get a strong message out there that we're out there, we're enforcing the laws, and that hopefully gets people to pay attention that we are out there.
That's kind of how Ford enforcement kind of got brought into the city too. I believe that was kind of the message behind that. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking about traffic, because that seems to be a bit of an issue right now here in Lloydminster. It's always a bit of fun, come the summer months, with anywhere you go, and I think in the country. But Highway 16 right now, the city's kind of made a bit of a mess out there, but they're doing good work. But there's no left turns. And you were telling me some of the numbers of tickets you guys have been writing. It just seems astronomical that people are still making that many left-hand turns in a day.
Well, the first week, I believe, one of our constables on the traffic unit was out and just was watching one of the intersections, and I think his numbers were about 8 tickets in an hour. So that's a lot of people making those left-hand turns that shouldn't be. Right now, there are 2 places that you can make left-hand turns legally. And that again was something that our traffic member identified, took to the city, and then the city went and acted on it, which was I think a choice for where the traffic is flowing right now. So it is a problem, but it is for an upgrade to the road system, which is needed.
Awesome. Before I let you go, I'm going to ask you a little bit about the G8 and the G20 summits. They're going on out in Toronto, a long ways away from us, but some of our local members are going out there. Is that a bit of a, it's not really a vacation for them to get to go to an event like that. They're probably working really hard and really on point the whole time they're there, right?
Yeah, they are, and they got their schedules a couple of months ago, I believe, and a lot of 12-hour shifts, so you're working just about every day for 12 hours, and then you get 12 hours off, so not really any time to go and do anything but the duties that you're assigned to. We sent 6 members from the detachment here. That's what what our commitment was going to be to the G8 and G20. And that the Rcmp did a good job in planning that far enough ahead that we knew what the commitment was going to be.
So the same number of boots on the ground, the same number of cars on the road for every shift, every watch, right?
Absolutely. One of the things that the Rcmp does is they do restrict leave, which just makes sense so that we don't have people going to G8 and G20 and also taking holidays. So there's a lot of planning that goes into it, and so far it's a lot like the Olympics. It's gone pretty smooth. So.
Well, before I let you go, Sergeant, I want to ask you, what are your goals for coming into Lloydminster, and what are your goals for the detachment here in Lloydminster? Now that you got a couple months under your belt, I guess you kind of learn a little bit of the lay of the land.
Yeah, I think one of the things is going to be really to work with the city and to find out what the issues are here that people want addressed as far as their police service goes. And you talked about boots on the ground, is that as we get members and we increase and we grow, I think it's very important that we have a plan as to how we're going to police the city so that we're giving people the best possible police service, and really that we make Lloydminster a safe place to live, that people want to move to, and that is a good place to raise a family, which I think it is now, but certainly there's always room for improvement. There's always room for new ideas, and I think it's going to be, from my perspective, is listening to what people want, and then taking that and putting it to, into action.
Right on. Well, my guest has been Staff Sergeant Dave Callist from the Lloydminster Rcmp. Sergeant, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Later in the show, we head out on an archaeological dig in Bodo. But after the break, we have a look at some of the news stories making the headlines. That's next on Around the Region.